Absolutely.
for anybody's attention, old or young.
Yep. And we also wanted to build the kind of exhibits that would appeal to a broad audience range. We wanted it to be a place where a grandparent and a grandchild could come together and equally get something out of the experience. And we see that on an almost daily basis. And that's really neat to watch those connections take place with families. So.
Very cool. And you have a research library.
We do have a research library. It is comprised of materials that tie back to our collections, our exhibits. There are some genealogical materials, a rare book component, and it's actually operated by the Hillsborough County Library System, and it's a branch of the library system. It's another great example. We go back to the stories associated with this project. It's another great example of how we have really made this come about through good, solid partnerships. The History Center itself is a partnership between the city of Tampa. They provided the land upon which the building sits. Hillsborough County funded the building of the building, or at least the majority of the building. We did supplement to some extent with private funds. And then it's operated by 501c3 Tampa Bay History Center. So collectively, we all came together to do something that none of us really could have done as effectively on our own.
So it's kind of like there was so much material that you couldn't put on a wall or in a visual program. So you said, well, gosh, let's put it over here in a library so people can actually go see a bigger amount of material that supports all the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's really gratifying when you watch a visitor that is exposed to a story within the galleries, and they're so interested that they want to know more about it. So then they go to the library, or maybe they go to the museum store and they buy a book about it, or they go home and that's the first thing they do is they Google the topic or whatever. That's neat. That's fun to watch.
Cool. What are the hours?
The hours are 10 to 5 every day. We also have the Columbia Restaurant has a cafe in our facility, and their hours are a little different, and worth mentioning that they are open for dinner, so they're open until 9 p.m. 7 days a week.
Is the center open in the evening at all?
We don't have regular evening hours at this point. A lot of what goes on after hours at the History Center are special events where people come in and rent the facility, which is certainly an option for one function or another.
Sure. Businesses can do meeting kind of environments or PR kind of events there.
Yep.
And
it's a great backdrop for that kind of event.
Yeah. So it's available in the evenings, but it's not open to the public.
That's
in
correct.
The evenings.
Every once in a while, we'll do a special program. We have a special program coming up where we'll have the galleries and whatnot open in the evening, but we don't have set evening hours at this point.
Yeah. Going back to the cowboy exhibit, it's what is it actually called? Florida Cattle Ranching.
5 centuries
kind
of
like,
tradition.
Okay. What are some of the things that are in there? Somebody says, well, let's go down and look at it. Well, it's a horse. It's it's this. Well, what are some of the things you've got there?
Lots of stories. Stories that bring this 500-year story to life, taking you from the introduction of cattle all the way through the present. Stories of present-day rodeo stars and families working in the cattle industry. Some terrific artifacts, artifacts from that Spanish period all the way up to the present. Audio-visual elements, their oral histories, telling various stories and the like. Some wonderful photographic mural elements. There's even a stuffed cow that's part of it. If you want to see what a cracker cow looks like, it's a fun show.
Saddles.
Different
eras of saddles.
There are
were you
several
able to get a
saddles
bunch?
that are part of this, and then of course within our permanent exhibits, we also have a neat component where we take visitors on a tour of a working cattle ranch. We filmed at the Lightsey Ranch, and actually Carrie Lightsey is your guide. One of the things we wanted to do, it's one thing to put these kinds of exhibits together and surround ourselves with curators and historians, but it's another to make sure that we're working with people who are living within the industry. We did this in the cigar area too. It adds a level of authenticity that would otherwise be absent if they weren't involved. So Carrie Lightsey is taking you on a tour of his ranch and talking about the history, his family's 7th 7 generations of involvement in the industry. But children, in particular, have an opportunity as they're going through this video to be riding on saddles that are on springs on the floor, kind of bouncing along.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I say children, and we design those for children. But of course, we see as many adults on those as we do kids. So there's some saddle elements there too.
How interesting. How long has the Tampa Bay History Center been around?
The History Center project has been around for about 20 years. For the last dozen years, we operated out of the Convention Center Annex in downtown Tampa, and basically operated what we called a preview center, where we showcased examples of items from our collections, some smaller scale exhibits, used it as an opportunity to offer programs and the like. But a couple of years ago, we closed the preview center in anticipation of moving into our new location, which we opened in January of this year.
And explain where 801 Old Water Street is, between the St. Pete Times Forum and the channel side business stuff down there?
It's actually between the Forum and the water. We sit
Oh,
directly
really?
on
Oh,
the
okay.
water, nestled right up against the Beneficial Bridge, which goes over to Harbor Island. And curiously, Old Water Street is a new street name. Formerly, that was St. Pete Times Forum Drive. We worked with both the St. Petersburg Times and the city of Tampa to rename the street, and we chose Old Water Street because originally that street was named Water Street. Now, in the time since the name was changed, Waters Avenue in the Tampa area came online, and so there were concerns about maybe 911 conflict issues, and so we compromised with Old Water Street.
I've been talking to C.J. Roberts, President and CEO for the Tampa Bay History Center. I'm sure most people are going to refer to it as the museum.
Yep.
But it is the Tampa Bay History Center. And admission tickets are $10 to $12, and kids under 4 are free. So come take an illuminating walk through 12,000 years of powerful stories. They've got 2 theaters, a map center, library, event hall, a museum store, and, of course, Columbia Cafes there, too. And the location is 801 Old Water Street, which is behind the St. Pete Times Forum on the water. And the hours 10 to
5, 7 days a week.
7 days a week. So that's a good place to take some kids from the neighborhood and go down on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's open.
It's open, and we're anxious to share it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You've been listening to In Touch with Tampa Bay, connecting to our community. Comments or questions are always welcome. And if you have suggestions for future program topics, please write to In Touch with Tampa Bay, 9721 Executive Center Drive North, St. Petersburg, Florida, 33702. If you're looking for a list of local community charity events or would like to promote your organization's charity event, go to givingbacktampabay.com. Thanks to the Overhead Door Company of Tampa Bay and CBS Radio's Giving Back Tampa Bay Public Service Initiative.